sound quality's not very good, though, is it? Sounds very bad. There's better songs. There's better versions of it on YouTube. There's much better versions of it on YouTube, but I couldn't download them quick enough. But yeah, it's Demba scores one since Ramadan, and he just can't seem to get enough. Now Demba scores two since Ramadan, and you go on and on and on. And what would happen? It would update every home game. So if he'd scored 5, you'd go from 1 to 5. Then if you scored in that game, you'd start at 1 and go up to 6, and then go back to 1 and go to 6 again. So and then just carried on for the whole season. And when he was getting up towards 15, 16, it was like the song was just going on forever. It's just like it's a brilliant song. And if you can find them, if anybody can find them on YouTube when the fans are singing Demba Ba since Ramadan, it's actually a really fantastic tribute to the man, and he loved it. That we could sing about, Geordie could sing about Ramadan and football in the same song, which is very unusual.
طبعا هذه الأغنية للاعب ديمبا أحد لاعبي نيوكاسل السابقين، يعني لاعب محبوب. طبعا جماهير نيوكاسل يعني عملت أغنية وقتها واشتهرت الأغنية. and we're gonna tweet the song now, tweet it on Twitter. And how was Dembaba as a player, Dave?
How was he? Oh, he was fantastic. When he first came, obviously he came during Ramadan, and he wasn't playing very well. A lot of people thought we'd heard that he'd had a lot of problems when we bought him with knee injuries and stuff like that. And we bought him, and when he wasn't producing the goals, and that's when it came out that because of Ramadan, he'd been fasting and he hadn't been eating properly. And obviously the Ramadan in the UK, if you're going from dawn till dusk, is quite long during the summer months. So because Ramadan, he was like, he was so tired. He was drinking strawberry syrup, and this is the big thing. Demba Ba had his bottle of strawberry syrup, and but once Ramadan finished, when he was fully fit and he was eating properly, then he just started scoring goals for fun, and the fans loved him. Well, absolutely, even now we still do. We can never forget that he went to Chelsea, and won things with Chelsea rather than winning things with us. But Demba Ba, he was the better of the two between him and Cisse. Demba Ba was the much better striker.
There is also a report you sent me. It's an old report about players who are Muslims and play for Newcastle. And here is a list. And one of them is also Sheikh Tayoti, rest in peace. Tell us a story about Sheikh Tayoti, Dave.
Czech was always one of those players who would give 110%, and he was always full-blooded into his tackles, and he was absolutely brilliant. But he'll always be remembered for that goal against Arsenal in the 4-4 against Arsenal when we scored. We got the equaliser in the last 2 minutes of the game when he volleyed from outside the box, and fantastic goal. And Czech, fantastic player. And another thing with Czech and the other Muslim players, we had 7 Muslim players playing in that team. Cisse, Tiote, Ben Arfa, Haidara, Mbawa, but Mbawa didn't play very many games, but Sissoko and Mehdi Abeid. But we had to create our own prayer room for the guys to take prayers, because we had 7 players. Now, Newcastle in the 1970s was always thought of as a racist fan base. You know, we were always thought to be like anti, we were, anti-blacks and all that sort of stuff. And there was a minority, and we had a minority of National Front supporters in the Newcastle crowd. But we also had very good people who were, promoting that equality. And years later, for us to have 7 Muslim players playing for Newcastle, it was fantastic, because those players were just proved how dedicated they are. They're dedicated to their faith, but they were dedicated to the football club. And you look at that list of players, that list of players, there's Ben Arthur, there's Papi Cisse, there's Demba Ba, there's Cheick Dione, players who Newcastle fans absolutely love. Absolutely love those players. There's one player there who obviously denigrated himself, Sissoko, by asking for a move and wanting more money rather than wanting to play for Newcastle. So, but when he first came,
is he still in Tottenham, or he moved?
He's in Sissoko. He's with is it Norwich now? He's with, I don't know. I forget who he's with now. He's dropped down a division. So not a division, dropped down in his standards. But no, I don't care about Sissoko anymore. He doesn't play for us. The other lads, and I'm quite sure that if, we might have done better things if Demba Ba stayed, but he went to Chelsea because of the relegation and stuff like that. So, and Ben Arthur, we would have had a fantastic football team if they had stayed, because they played alongside people like Kibai and stuff like that. So we had a really good team, but the relegation, our first relegation under Mike Ashley, spoiled everything. Spoiled everything. And then, of course, we also had the incident with the football strips, because we were sponsored by Wonga, which was a money lending organization, and the lads refused to wear that shirt. Although there's a picture there with Cheick wearing it, they were actually very, very unhappy about wearing that shirt, because it went against everything that against Islam. So they stood up for what they believed in, and they refused to wear it. But in the end, I think they had to, because obviously it was match day. But they certainly wouldn't promote the sponsors. They weren't happy about promoting the sponsors. So, but great days, great players.
There was a rumor when the team came to Jeddah that there is some Muslim player in Newcastle right now, and I asked the social media, who you mean? I don't recall any Muslim player now. Someone says Maximin. Not really sure. I don't think so. What do you think?
I don't know, because I'm not sure if Maxi crosses himself when he comes on the pitch. So I'm not sure if Maxi's Muslim or not.
Okay.
I can't think of anybody else who might be.
Yeah, that was the discussion, is Maximin, but it's like I don't know. There was nothing being said about it.
You know what it is? It doesn't have to be. Anybody doesn't have to say, what their religion is. They're good football players.
Exactly. But that was just something to discuss between when they came to Jeddah, and the possibility to go to Mecca and do Umrah, and but this is just to make sure. I ask you this question.
I wasn't sure what. I'm not sure if Maxi was Muslim or not. But the only reason why it got mentioned back in the 80s, it was simply back in the 80s, back in 2013, is because we had 7 players And we had to, you know, that was a respect to those players that we created that prayer room. They had their own place to go and when they needed to pray. And that's only right. I think that's something that all football clubs should be looking to do, making sure they have facilities to make sure that everybody feels comfortable, you know. But many a time, apparently, this, if you read the story, it was like Denver Bar or Ben Arthur would lead the team into prayer. You know, they would lead the prayers. You know, so that tells you everything. You know about the camaraderie of those players at that time. Very much so now, with the same sort of camaraderie we've got with the players we've got around us now. You know how they're so well gelled. It makes a big difference when you've got happy players.
Yeah, we'll come to the question later, Tom. Dave, speaking of the players, we are so close to the summer, which gonna be next maybe next week. We'll do a show about summer in Newcastle. And would you like to announce the new show we agree about?
Yeah, once the end of the season, last game of the season, in readiness of the opening of the transfer window, me and Alwaleed will have a show. Alwaleed will lead the show, and we're going to call it "Soon to be the Tune," soon to be in the tune,
or soon to be tune.
Soon to be tune, yeah.
Easier.
Which is going to highlight those players that Newcastle would like to bring to St James's Park for the new season in the Premiership next season, as predicted by Alwaleed, that we wouldn't get relegated.
We are sure, almost sure now, Dave. A lot, especially here in Saudi Arabia and among my friends and followers on Twitter, what they talk about is the transfer. Everybody wants that player. Every journalist talking about transfer. This is it kind of does that happen usually? Because we still have 8 games left, 2 months. Yeah. We still have April, we still have May. Why do you think these talks start earlier this season, or this is just normal?
It's just normal, Alwaleed. But what we've got to remember this year, 2022, is going to be different because of the World Cup.
Yes.
And the World Cup taking place so late in the year, it means a lot of transfer deals are going to have to be done very quickly and probably very early, because you're going to need to get those players in time to. So you're not going to wait until the end of August to get those players in, because the season will have started by the end of August. We'll be possibly 4 games in by the time the old transfer window would close. So I think there could be a lot of deals going through very quickly. But it's a normal thing that, we start early. We start saying, so at the end of the season, that's when, because once the FA Cup final has been played, or once the European Champions League final has been played, everybody's talk then just turns to, because they've got nothing else to talk about, is transfers, because they've got nothing else to talk about, and then that becomes another competition as to who can get the best players, who can pay the most money for players. So let's hope that Newcastle again are top of that league. They were top of the league in January. We spent the most money in January, and hopefully when we come to the summer transfer window, we'll spend the most money again.
There is a close source here in Saudi Arabia says that negotiation with Aaron Hickey, the left Scottish player, is close. The deal close to be done.
Who?
Aaron Hickey.
All right. Hickey.
Yes, he's a left back. He's 18 years old. For Scotland national team. and it's been mentioned by Fabrizio Romano about a month ago that there is a close or talks, but things getting moving regarding this. So speaking of the left back, before that, Dave, have you heard something similar about this player in Newcastle?
No, I haven't heard anything similar about Hickey, but it would make sense if he's an up and coming international that he's probably going to be one for the future. He's not going to be wanting to step into the team, not an 18-year-old. You cannot put an 18-year-old in the Premiership unless he was an absolutely outstanding player.
I'm not really sure. He's 18 or 20. 18 or 20. Actually, I'm not really sure.
If he's 20, then he might be right, you know. But I haven't heard anything concrete about Hickey, you know.
This is here in Saudi, from Saudi end. What's the story of left back at Scotland? They have great players left back. The player from Arsenal, I actually don't recall his name.
I know.
And
Robertson
and
Liverpool, but that's it. The Scottish, every now and then, the Scots do produce a decent player. Not always. There's one thing about Scotland: they've never ever had a good goalkeeper. Probably some of the worst goalkeepers ever. But no, they've had some class players. Dalglish and when he played for Scotland, and they've got a tendency to produce some good players, but they end up in the majority of times, unless they play for one of the big teams, that's why they don't actually come through. But with players like Robertson at Liverpool, he's really come on leaps and bounds, and he's one of the best left backs in the world at the minute, because he's certainly good at crossing the ball. He's very good attacking defender. Very like the sort of player we would like, very much in the Beresford mold. Although he probably was better than Beresford, but Beresford was always a good left back for us. But let's see.
Dave, regarding still, maybe today got more talks about. Still, we get back to Botman and Diego Carlos. This still running this story. How do you think this is close to our direction?
I think it's obviously those players who were close to, we were close to signing in January, would make very sense if we were just to, because all the groundwork has already been done. We know what they're like. We know that they're interested in coming. So it's just a case of now we have to finalize those deals. So if those players had gone elsewhere, it would mean we would have to look at new players. So they're looking at those players are players who we already know all about. So it makes sense. Let's go for Etike. Let's go for Carlos. Let's go for Botman. That's to me would make sense, because those players, like we already agreed, in January, all of those players said they were interested in joining Newcastle. And there's one other name to throw in that hat as well, which could be something, is Richarlison. Richarlison at Everton, because he's now just signed he's a contract with CAA, who we deal with on transfers. And CAA were the ones who, I think CAA were Trippier's agents. So it would be good if we could get Richarlison. Apparently there's rumours that Richarlison is leaving Everton at the end of the season. So if that's true, let's bring Richarlison in.
And regarding Nunes also as well, there is a fight. Still the fight go for him. It's like there is no player except Nunes. He's I think the most trending transfer goal.
Oh, it's Nunez.
Nunez, yeah.
Yeah.
Is he that? يعني is he that?
What?
يعني do you think is he that good?
Look, I'm not. I'm not
Because
a scout.
he's gonna cost يعني much from the budget.
I've never seen anything that was actually levied. I don't know what's been levied against him, you know. So Nunez, there's going to be a lot. There's going to be a lot of people mentioned come the 1st of June. There's going to be a lot of players mentioned, and we'll get linked with everybody. Our prices, the cost of the players that we want to buy, will go up through the roof. We'll have to pay more money than anybody else, more than likely. But we've got to be right in the players we bring in. You know, we've brought in Bruno, and already, you know, everybody's talking about what a player he is. You know, when he's played the full 90, when he played the time that he did against Wolves, and how he actually ran the show, he was actually everywhere. People are saying, you know, what if Newcastle? Why would he want to go to Newcastle? Well, he knows what's coming. He knows what's coming. He knows we're going to be something of a powerhouse next season or the season after, and we're going to start winning trophies as regularly as what Manchester City have or what Chelsea have. So, yeah, you know, if we can bring Nunez in and we can bring Botman, Diego Carlos, yes, I would like to see Diego Carlos as well, but not as much as I would probably want to see somebody like Atike, because he's younger and got more of a life. He's got more of a career ahead of him.
Dave, how? Let's say it's a truth. What's going on about Botman and Diego Carlos? Why Newcastle? If this is true, why they keep fighting for the same two player we couldn't get in January? Why there is no another players? Or maybe this is just to clickbait from the journalist, just to
like I said,
sell the paper.
Like I said, Alwaleed, these players were already players we were interested in. We've done all the groundwork. And it would make sense to keep those players on side, on board. So if we do go back, then those players know that we want them and they feel like they're wanted. So if they feel like they're wanted, then they've got a better chance of wanting to come to Newcastle. So
Fans, some of my friends send me that Merdad follow Botman and Botman follow Merdad and Newcastle.
Yeah,
that's show what you say.
Yeah, but if that's the case, then you know you if there's some sort of links there that suggest that, you know what I mean, that there's a link between the owners and some of the players, because those owners have actually endeared themselves to the players, and they like what the owners are saying about how Newcastle are going to be going forward. And you look at how Mehrdad has actually changed the whole thing about how Newcastle are appearing in the public. You know, Mehrdad is waving a flag. He's waving a flag.
Yeah.
Directors don't do things like that. Owners don't do things like that. You know, but he has connected not only with the fans, not only with the players, but with possibly future players.
I think one of the reasons, Dave. Sorry to interrupt, but one of the reasons I think the extent of the takeover procedure make us all close together.
Yeah,
because it's so long.
It did. Yeah, it did take too long. But yeah.
Okay, Merdad, follow me. Is that he want me in the tone as well?
Yeah, he does. Yes, get me to follow you.
Brilliant, Dave. Okay, that's regarding Butman. There is also a player here. I don't want. Maybe this will last player will talk about transfer. I always get his name wrong. Is Gonzalo Inacio or Inacio? Gonzalo Inacio.
Inacio.
Yes.
And who plays for Betis?
And they said here a tweet from a new FC stuff that Steve Nixon, the scout, head of scout in Newcastle, attend that game between Sporting Lisbona to watch closely Gonzalo Inacio.
So it's
as you see, young age, Newcastle looking for the young age players.
Yeah, which is what we've got to do really, because we want to bring players in who have got a longer future, because we want players who are going to be playing for Newcastle for years. So we're not always having to buy new players every season. We want players who are going to be here and who we can develop, and we can instead of adding 11 new players every season, we'll just add one or two. So we've always got, so bringing in players like Hickey and Inacio and Botmans and the Tikias, these players will play for us a long time, and they'll become legends, club legends, because they'll be here for a long time.
What about Paqueta, the Brazilian? Also, he got his share from the fans that asking for Paqueta to join Newcastle. How you see another Brazilian join midfield of Newcastle? For me personally, I feel like Eddie Howe will lose the driving seat if he get more Brazilian, especially in the midfield.
Well, we've had 7 Muslims in the team. Why can't we have 7 Brazilians?
That's different. That's not make any sense. That's no, Dave. That's totally different.
You look at it that way. You look at it the fact that you've got.
It's a country. Muslim's not a country.
Yes, I know, but what I'm saying is, just because they're Brazilians doesn't mean that they're not going to fit in. The only problem we would have is that when you've got far too many players who play in South America or who play in Africa, is that the traveling for their national games is too far. It's too tiring.
That's obvious.
Players will be missing for games.
Exactly, and the distance, and we see Almiron sometimes he's tired when he gets back. But in addition, we see how Bruno is very hard to get the team. After we get him in January, and he didn't play just lately. Last game was first in the home. So I can see Paqueta as well in the defense. If you define defense, midfield, strikers, if all midfield from Brazil and Newcastle in Premier League, doesn't make sense.
No, it doesn't. You're right, but I can't. The only thing that I can see that would be a problem is the travelling for international games, and to me that's the main problem. I don't mind if we had 7 Brazilians. I don't mind if we had 11 Brazilians playing for. If they've got the best 11 Brazilians, as long as not the ones that got beat 7-1 off Germany, I'm not bothered.
But imagine, Dave, if they go for camp or something in international, the whole starting lineup from Brazil not in the team, they are national team. Yeah. So how the team will gonna play? It's gonna be difficult.
Exactly, that's gonna be hard.
And I think Eddie Howe have more European style, even if he gets player from South America, but he have European style. I can't play with European style with Brazilian players.
Yeah,
that's just my opinion, though.
Yeah, that's true. You're right, and that might be one of the things that will. But again, Alwaleed, we're talking about speculation.
Yes,
players who have been speculated with. There's no guarantees that we'll sign any more Brazilians. Richarlison being a Brazilian as well, you know what I mean? And he plays regularly for Brazil. So will Richarlison come? He's a good player who I'd like to sign if we got a chance to sign Richarlison. But is that going to be a reasonable shout? I doubt it. I think there's other players we can probably bring in. I can't see why we can't bring Harry Kane. because I can't see him staying at Spurs next season. He wanted to be away. Yes, he's happy at the minute, but he's said he would knuckle down and do his job, and that's what he's doing. And I can't see why we can't go for Harry Kane come the summer.
Yeah, but Harry Kane won a trophy, and
well, yeah,
but
he's not going to win a trophy with Tottenham this season. He's not going to win a trophy with Tottenham this season. He might win a trophy with Newcastle next season.
Yeah,
you remind
me of this. I saw it earlier, and they said to bring it to the show.
Yeah, well, that's
how it's first stadium. Restricted on trophies.
Yeah, we've had that hanging outside of St James's Park since 1969.
Oh my God!
Yeah, that's 53 63 years, mate.
طبعا انا وديف راح ان شاء الله راح نسوي برنامج بخصوص الانتقالات. يعني احنا قاعدين نتحدث عن الانتقالات والاشاعات اللي موجوده في تويتر. راح ان شاء الله نسوي برنامج اسمه soon to be tune. قريبا يعني يكون تون يعني لنيوكاسل مختص بالانتقالات ان شاء الله. راح نبدا ان شاء الله باذن الله بحوله وقوته في 23 ماي بعد اخر مباراه نيوكاسل هذا الموسم امام بيرلي. Enough talking, Dave, about transfer. We still have soon to be tune soon.
Tune soon. That's a good one. You didn't know it.
Okay, now we have the games. We didn't maybe have a chance to talk about Tottenham game, I think, and we didn't have a chance to talk about Wolverhampton. So how you see the backlash of Newcastle after that heavy defeat from Tottenham?
I thought you could tell the game against Wolves. We were so dominant. The Wolves had a lot of player possession in their own half, but they never got out their own half. And so no, I think we played the game against Wolves, we just proves that what such a good team we actually are. We played well. We didn't let the defeat against Tottenham get us down. And don't forget, we'd lost Tottenham, we'd lost against Everton, we lost against Chelsea. We'd lost 3 games in a row.
Yes.
But the Newcastle were playing against, and I said to you that on the Wednesday beforehand that I thought that the Wolves game was probably going to be the hardest game of the 3. And it was tough to break them down. Very tough to break them down. And I thought I didn't think the goal was offside. Yes, it probably is offside, but it was, and that's Whisker offside. Again, really stupid VAR decisions. Another decision that could have gone against us and took points away. But the players and Bruno was absolutely magnificent.
How you see his new companion Bruno and Saint Maximin together? Do you think they get more along now?
They were getting in each other's way on some of the times, but Bruno was actually covering Maxi's backside a lot of the time. He was dropping when Maxi was losing the ball. Bruno was the one that was chasing it, but you could actually see Maxi. You could see Maxi was thinking exactly the same. And there's a couple of times when Maxi lost the ball, he come racing back. I think he'd learned off Bruno, and to chase the ball down, and he was chasing a lot of the balls back. But no, it was a fantastic display from Bruno, a brilliant display, and you could tell, and the lads were busting a gut to get a win, and it was just a case of just keep going. We're not gonna, and it was starting to look like. I said to one of the lads who at the match, I says, I think it's going to be 0-0. I think it's going to be 0-0, and I said to you, it'd probably be a 0-0.
Yes.
And it was heading that way because it was just so tight. but the penalty was very, very dubious. But I took it. I accepted it. And Chris Wood, I couldn't even look. I had turned me back. I had me coat over my head. I just couldn't look. And but when I seen the goal on the television, he certainly smashed it. That was there's nobody going to stop that. If the keeper had got behind that, if the keeper had caught that, the ball would have pushed him into the net. The ball would have pushed him all the way back because he hit it so hard.
Yesterday, the show in jerseys, their jerseys here with Steve Wraith, Dr. Neil Mitchell mentioned something about it's been some training on the penalties kick at Newcastle, and there was a competition to decide who gonna be the penalty taker, and it's been said that Chris Wood got ahead of everybody else by a mile.
Wait, if he's hitting penalties like that, then then they can't say, because that's the way Shearer used to take them. Alan Shearer never ever passed the ball into the bottom corner. He always hit the ball, and there wasn't very many penalty takers better than Alan Shearer at the time. And if Chris Wood, he's taken 30 penalties.
Yes, I make the research. Yes, and lost 3.
Yeah, and missed 3. So yeah, that says everything, doesn't it? You know what I mean? He's an accomplished penalty taker. So keep it up. Yeah.
Leicester just beat PSV Eindhoven in the Conference League. So do you expect they will be, as you know, usual talk on Twitter, they will be tired, exhausted for Sunday game? But I don't think this is going to happen. What do you think? What is your expectation for the game?
Because, I mean, it is what, 3 days away. It's the usual Wednesday, Saturday type thing, But like Tulami says there, I'm confident we'll beat Leicester. I'm very confident we'll beat Leicester. We, if you think we had to against Wolves, we had to take off Fraser very early on, and we had a couple of players who had niggles, who you could see were carrying niggles during the game. Shelby was feeling his ankle all the time. I expected Shelby to go off before he did. I think he kept feeling his ankle, and I just, but the players came through.
Speaking, you said the Fraser. Fraser's lately, I'm not really impressed about Fraser lately. He seems exhausted, not creating. Okay, he's annoying, and he's really make the opponent busy. But I didn't see any advantage statistic regarding him. No assist, no chance or goal creation. Maybe just have maybe kind of maybe defensive role. Just make, as I said, make the opponent busy. But when Almiron, I think he got more. The team got more enthusiasm in the field. What do you see?
Yeah,
what do you see?
But the thing is though, Almiron got a couple of good positions on again when he came on for Fraser, and he couldn't cross the ball. He couldn't pass. He just couldn't get the ball past the first man. But whereas Fraser can get you that, he can create your goals. So I think Fraser, if he's not playing against Leicester, will be a miss, and I don't think he will play against Leicester. But I think it'll be a miss.
So what do you think the starting lineup? It's going to be the same, no change.
Yes. The players.
Joelinton benched.
No, I think Joelinton will start.
No, sorry, he'll start. I mean, Willock benched.
Willock will be on the bench. Yeah, Willock will be benched. You can't play Bruno and see what he did against Wolves and how he played that game and how he was everywhere. He was magnificent. He ran the whole midfield. You can't then drop him for a player who had an injury and coming back from an injury. No, you play Bruno. You start Bruno again. So it's the same lineup for me. It would be the same lineup. The only difference would be Almiron or Murphy for Fraser.
Regarding coach level, same Eddie Howe have still, when he play with opponent who have expert coach, let's say, he didn't perform very well. So we see this against Conte, and for me personally, I'm kind of worry from Brandon Rodgers.
Brendan
You know,
Rodgers.
yeah.
Give on, man. Brendan Rodgers. He's not a quality coach.
Come on, no, he's a great.
He's not. You know, he's not. He's not a quality. He's not a quality coach. He's a good coach. He's not a quality coach. Look at the team we had at look at the team we had at Liverpool, and they struggled badly. They should have won the title that year. They should have won the title that year, but they had too many cocky players in that squad, and Steven Gerrard slipped and let in Demba Ba, and Demba Ba won the title. Took the title away from Liverpool. Brendan Rodgers, he was a good coach when he was at Celtic. He was a good coach when he was at Swansea. He was not. He's not top quality. He's not top quality. Because if he was, he would have gone somewhere other than Leicester. Leicester when they won the title under Ranieri, under was it Ranieri? Yeah, under him, it was a fluke. They played well. They had a fantastic goal scorer. They had a fantastic centre half in Maguire. Maguire was probably at the top of his game then, and they had Vardy. They were killing players. They were actually killing teams because they had goal scorers. They had people who could get them goals anywhere. So Rodgers going to Leicester was just because he'd had a good season, a couple of seasons with Celtic. So he'd gone to Leicester, and he had a good team. But I wouldn't say they're still not the team that was setting everybody alight. They're not. Then he's not. Oh wait, we beat them 4-2 at their place. Last season, season before, we beat them 4-2 at their place. We turned them over. He's not a great. He's not a quality coach. So Eddie Howe's coming up against a coach who I think he's probably on a par with. Eddie Howe's on a par with Brendan Rodgers, in my opinion. So no, don't class Brendan Rodgers as a top quality coach.
Okay, no. We'll see. We'll see there. Crystal Palace. Let's take a few minutes about coming fixtures. For me, it's a mysterious team. It's he got more development lately, but still Crystal Palace with Vieira. He's not that maybe experienced coach as well. So what the expectation? For me, now we have Leicester and Crystal Palace. They are, I'm not going to say easy, but it's less difficult home games we have left this season.
Yeah. And I think that's why we'll take the 6 points. We'll take the 3 off Leicester on Sunday, and then we'll take the 3 off Crystal Palace on Wednesday. Although at the moment, Zaha seems to be playing better than what he's played for a long time.
Yes.
Wilfried Zaha. I think he's got more of a free role. He's now feeling happier. Where he's playing, he hasn't got that pressure on his shoulders about looking for a move away. I think he's settled. I think he's now more settled at Crystal Palace, and he sees that he's not playing for any big teams anymore. So he's now settled there. But no, I think we'll beat Palace as well. So, and that's 6 point. Honestly, I think if we beat Leicester on Sunday, it's done. It's over and done with.
Yes, I can see that. Yeah, because if we beat Leicester, inshallah, hopefully, we didn't, maybe most of the fans didn't expect full points from Wolf and Leicester.
Yeah. And
we still have Crystal. We have still also Crystal and Norwich, which is which I believe now we should not just worry to be relegated. We have to worry. Let's get number 9 position, or we can't take number 9 in the standing table.
Yeah,
it's not very hard.
That's
8 is difficult, of course. The 8 is difficult, but 9 is reachable. If you win it,
do it. 10th. Let's go for 10th. Let's go for 10th. Let's get that up the next half of the table.
Yes.
Instead of being 11 down, be 10 up. So you're looking at that 10th place. Let's go for 10th.
Exactly.
Let's sure we can do that. Let's have a go at it.
And I think this is what Eddie Howe aim this season. It's not just about relegation anymore.
No. Although Eddie Howe's he's been diplomatic in what he's saying, that we're not safe yet. We're not safe yet. He knows in his own heart that we probably are.
Of course, he must say that.
We've got to say that just to be on the safe side.
Of course. Dave, let's go to the comments and the question.
Yeah.
And here they're asking about Champions League and Europe League. We'll get this in a few minutes. Okay, Sheikh Dave. Sheikh is something. You know what means Sheikh, Dave? First of all,
Sheikh. No, I only know Sheikh as being the guy who's the head of the family type of thing.
The tribal.
Yeah.
The tribal. Yeah, because in Twitter when I write it Sheikh Dave in Arabic, the problem with translation it says elder, which is totally wrong.
No.
Just to make that.
I'm 50. I'm
just to make this clear.
I'm older. I'm old.
No, Sheikh, it's different meaning. Just finished watching Leicester. I think Sunday will be a tough game. I fancy a draw, says by Tom.
Not bad, Tom. Ericsson, no.
I don't know any. It's really sometimes. Well, I have a WhatsApp group when I watch the names being mentioned by random fans.
Yeah.
And if they saw a player make an assist or goal, okay, we want him in Newcastle.
Yeah.
It's not FIFA.
Years ago, man, when there'd be, say, like a ball boy would catch the ball or kick the ball back, or a spectator will kick the ball back. The first song that we'd sing is "Sign him on, sign him on, sign him on." we're telling the, so that's as bad as where we are now. That anybody who does well, we're shouting, "Sign him, sign him, sign him."
Does well one game or 1 minute. Thank you to an army. Yeah. What do you think about Ericsson? We talk about Ericsson, yeah. And yes, and actually there was a comment on Twitter I like. He said for Ericsson he must stay on the club and pay reback the favor, his situation, and after what he have, they take the risk. Yes, he should stay. I
think he will. One of the players, one of my friends in the scooter club, he's a Wolverhampton supporter, and I mentioned to him one of their players, Willie Bowley. He's like a man mountain. Now, if he's available at the end of the season, I think he would put him alongside Big Dan Burn. There's nobody getting past them, because Dan Burn is 6 foot, 7 foot tall. Willie Bowley is like 7 foot wide, and Maxwell couldn't get past him. He had to run around him. He's so big and so tough. Maxie was just bouncing off him. You know what I mean? And I thought he looked an excellent player. So I would love to see him play for Newcastle. Willie Bowley.
But do you think he will fit style?
No, he would fit our style, definitely. He would definitely fit our style.
See, how he will continue to play with 4-2-3-1. only better player to be there.
Yeah, but I would see that Bowley would replace Fabian Shaw. That's where he would go.
What do you think of Shola Amubi as youth team loan manager? What does he actually do? Not really understanding it.
Well, apparently he is the youth. He brings in. He obviously brings in the youth and gets them and loans them out and stuff like gets them to go to other clubs and stuff like that. The only thing with Shola Amiobi was he was the only 6'5" centre forward who could jump 3'2" because he couldn't jump to save his life. A big tall striker, but he couldn't jump to save his life. But he scored a lot of goals against Sunderland, and he scored quite a few goals in the Champions. He scored 2 goals in the Champions League. So, brilliant player, but couldn't jump to save his life.
Dave, I know that you are not a fan of maybe Champions League, if I'm correct, but what do you think? Yesterday, Manchester City beat Atletico. What's your expectation for the semi-finals? And what do you think of Benzema explosion this season?
I don't know where Benzema's come from this season, because he's just suddenly come from. Up till this season, he hasn't. To me, I always thought, what's the big fuss about Benzema? Why do people like him? Because I was thinking, he's not that good. He's not that good. But this season,
he scored many goals in difficult times
this season. Yeah, I don't know why he's changed. I don't know what's happened to him. But he's scoring lots of goals. Yeah.
No, I think it's a better chemistry. They play. I watch closely the games, and I noticed that it's easy when you have a great team, and the teammates respect each other, and respect and understand our goal scorer is Benzema, so we are gonna work for him.
Yeah.
As they do with Ronaldo.
Yeah.
Lately when he was with them. So this is what happened in Real Madrid. Everybody respect Benzema. Vinicius playmaker for Benzema. Luka Modric playmaker for Benzema. So everybody, they have one target to make Benzema score, and they respect it. So this is what happened when you have a coach, of course, like. Ancelotti. So what's your expectation for the semi-finals? Real Madrid versus City, and Villarreal versus Liverpool.
I think Liverpool will beat Villarreal. Liverpool will beat Villarreal very, very easily, easily. I'm less sure about Man City beating Real Madrid. But Chelsea scored 3 goals against them last night. Away from home at the Santiago Bernabeu, but Manchester City have got a lot of head problems. I think they've got a lot of head problems. A lot of players aren't playing as well as they can do. Certainly, and I think the title running is taking a lot out of some of their players. Because I watched them at that game at the weekend, and Sterling looked out of sorts. He kept giving the ball away, and De Bruyne wasn't playing very well. So I think, to me, I think it's probably going to be a Real Madrid Liverpool final.
Real Madrid and Liverpool.
Yeah.
You think?
Real Madrid Liverpool final.
And who will win?
Real Madrid.
Yeah, for me, I think either Real Madrid or Manchester City. I can't see Liverpool or Villarreal do anything more.
No. I can't see. Like I say, I think Liverpool will beat Villarreal. Well, they'll beat Villarreal. So, look, either way, it's going to be either an all Spanish final or an all English final. But but I think it'll be a Real Madrid Liverpool final, and I think Real Madrid will win the final. Real Madrid, they look, with Benzema playing the way he is, they look too good. They look really on fire at the moment.
So, Dave, last question. What's your expectation? Result. Give us the result on Sunday.
Oh, I give you a result against Wolves 0-0, and I said it'll be the hardest game. It nearly was a 0-0, but Leicester, Newcastle 2-1. Newcastle 2-1. We will go 2-0. We will go 2-0 up, and Leicester will get a consolation goal in the last couple of minutes.
For me, I think 3-2 Newcastle.
3-2.
Yes.
Okay.
We'd like to thank you, Dave, for this bright show, and hopefully to continue next week. Next week we're going to talk about summer in Newcastle. طبعا راح نتكلم إن شاء الله الأسبوع القادم مع ديف عن الصيف في نيوكاسل. شكرا لكم للمتابعة وتصبحون على خير.